Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of Monday Night Raw for October 13th, 2025. Too bad it's not Friday the 13th, but it is Monday morning Raw. Not too often this happens. Raw was in Perth, Australia. Raw aired live for everybody on Netflix, which meant 8 p.m. Eastern in the United States. 8 a.m. Eastern, excuse me. Definitely not p.m. We're talking about Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, United States. As Matthew says in the chat, breakfast with Aaron again. Third time. We had SmackDown, we had Crown Jewel, and now we got Monday Night Raw. We had a shocking ending to Monday Night Raw. I will discuss that. I'm still processing it, but let's go back. Start at the beginning. We opened up Raw with a Crown Jewel video package. The Vision, World Champion Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman. No Becky Lynch, which I guess makes sense when we get to the end. They came out there. Rollins was wearing the Crown Jewel Championship. He called the fans wankers, and they popped for it. It was Bizarro World this week on Monday Night Raw. The Australian fans were cheering the heels. They were cheering everybody, really. They were just happy to be there. 40,000 fans over the 3 shows. WWE did confirm that. Hey, good job, Australia. You gave WWE a lot of money. Give yourselves a standing ovation. But anyways, Rollins put over Paul Heyman, hugged him. The crowd wanted a kiss, so Rollins kissed Heyman on the forehead. He called Bron Breakker the undisputed future of the industry, and he said with his vision, Bronson Reed was able to destroy Roman Reigns. And Rollins also bragged about beating Cody Rhodes on his own without help. He said he doesn't need the Vision. Remember that line later. He has chosen them. Pyro went off, and people did take note that Bron Breakker was standing away from Rollins just a little bit. And, well, that came back at us later. Stay tuned. Interesting segment to open up the show. Basically just Rollins gloating and putting over the Vision, and it all ties into what happened at the end, so stay tuned. Backstage, Bronson Reed was talking to Penta, and Rusev revealed that he has the next opportunity at the Intercontinental Title. Dominic was walking towards Rusev, but then decided to turn back. He is still terrified of Rusev. We had our first match of the show, Penta versus Dirty Dominik Mysterio. The crowd was loving Dominic. They were cheering him. If anything, they were into him more than Penta. Dominic got the upper hand and was taunting the fans. He did the Penta strut, which got a big pop, and they were singing the Dirty Dom song. And then Penta went for the 3 Amigos, and he was actually getting booed a little bit. Then Dominic countered with the third one, and they popped and chanted for Eddie. And as Matthew says in the chat, Dirty Dom can go babyface at any time. People love him now. Then Penta avoided the 619 and built up momentum, and Rusev ran down. Why Rusev needed to interfere, I don't know, but he came down there, and Penta took out Rusev with a dive. Typical stupid babyface. Then Dominic, while this was happening, grabbed a hammer from the timekeeper's table, and he also had his championship. He dropped the title in the ring, and when the referee was grabbing the title and putting it away, that's when Dominic used the hammer as a weapon, hit it in his boot, and then finished off Penta with the 619 and the big splash. Dominic's great. I mean, he's really at the top of his game here. And he's doing the Eddie Guerrero lying, cheating, and stealing. And the fans totally accept it. They love that Dominic is like the new version of Eddie Guerrero. That's really what he's become. He's got that neck tattoo now. He's got tons of ink. Think about when he first came into WWE, he barely had any tattoos, and now he's fully inked. He's got the mustache. He's just really come into his own. Dominic doing great stuff here. And next week, he'll have to face Rusev for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, will Penta interfere next week and cost Rusev again? We'll have to wait and see. Or does Rusev actually win the title? Dominic will still have the Mega Championship. But what about this rumored John Cena versus Dominic match for the IC title? It's interesting. I'm not sure where this is going next week, and especially after the ending of Raw, anything's possible now. We'll get to that. Believe me, we will. I got a lot to say on that. But let's move on here. We had Asuka yelling at Kairi Sane backstage for losing. Kairi said she's sorry. She was planning to fix it. And then Asuka said she will fix it in a match with Rhea Ripley. Kairi was upset about this. She showed off her bruised forehead from Crown Jewel, and Asuka responded by slapping her, and the crowd was like, oh my God. They were shocked by that one. Loving the storyline. Great stuff with these two. We then had Rhea Ripley with Io Sky in her corner versus Kairi with Asuka in her corner. Kairi has her old music back, continuing the trend from SmackDown where wrestlers are getting their old CFO music back, which I'm very happy about. I think that's great news. And I don't know if Def Rebel will be gone or if they're going to be gone, but we need a shake up with the music, and at the very least go back to the CFO themes and get rid of Def Rebel, bring in somebody else. I'm a big fan of that. The Def Rebel music, for the most part, just doesn't work. Yes, they got a few bangers here and there, but I feel like CFOs knocked it out of the park almost every time with the theme music. All right, so let's get to this match. Kairi was using her speed to try and outmaneuver Rhea Ripley, and Asuka was getting involved, of course. And then Io and Asuka went at it. Kairi helped out Asuka, and the match continued. It went back and forth. Crowd was chanting, F her up, Rhea. And Kairi managed to avoid the Riptide, and she continued her offense. And then Kairi did this double stomp off the top. Then Rhea regained the upper hand, made her come back. And then Asuka once again got on the apron, but Io knocked her off. And then Rhea was able to finish off Kairi with the Riptide. Pretty good match here. They got a lot of time on this one. Rhea Ripley wins, but post-match, we get the beatdown. Io's taken out, and then Rhea tries to put Asuka through the announce table, but Kairi uses a kendo stick. Then Asuka DDTs Rhea Ripley on the announce table. Io is down. Rhea's down. Asuka and Kairi stand tall in this segment. It was good. I enjoyed it. I liked the match. Post-match, Asuka, one of the best heels right now in WWE. All right, next up, we had Jimmy and Jey Uso backstage, and they were talking about their big matches. Jimmy was set for a match with Bronson Reed and wanted Jey in his corner, but Jey said that he can't keep making the mistakes of getting involved in other people's business. And Jimmy was like, all right, fine. Jimmy said he'll handle business on his own. We had Bronson Reed versus Jimmy. Jimmy was all taped up in the midsection. And of course, Bronson Reed targeted it. Now, Jimmy was kind of a stupid baby face in this match because he went for the Samoan drop, which against the big man like Bronson Reed, not the best idea. You got bad ribs. And then on top of that, He went for it a second time, and it still didn't work, and that was the end for him. Reed came off the top with the tsunami and picked up the win. After the match was over, Bron Breakker showed up and speared Jimmy twice and was going to do it a third time on the outside, but then Jay did make the save for his brother, but got into a bit of a situation. He got hurt a little bit. The Usos did manage to clear the ring, but of course, Jay was upset that he came out there to help Jimmy and once again kind of hurt himself and potentially jeopardized his world title match. But he was all right. However, he walked out on his brother. More tensions between the two of them. So we'll see where that goes. Backstage, Lyra Valkyria said she doesn't know if she can trust Bayley. Bayley said they'll do great. She was all happy. And we had a tag team match. Lyra and Bayley against Raquel and Roxanne of Judgment Day. Pretty straightforward match here. Bayley was getting worked on for a long time, and it was Lyra who slapped Bayley to fire her up, and it did work. Bayley just went absolutely crazy. She beat up both Judgment Day members and then finished off Roxanne with the rose plant after hitting the elbow. Bayley and Lyra pick up a win here. It's an interesting character with Bayley. I guess she's a baby face. She can go crazy, but she can also be the lovable Bayley. So at least for now, like it's a fun tag team. I do feel like this is helping Lyra. She is starting to come into her own as a character, and this is giving her a chance to do something interesting and not go out there and cut those promos with Becky and feel very forced. This does feel more natural and like she's having fun with it. So I'm a fan of this up to this point, and we'll see where it goes. Now, backstage, an interesting segment in hindsight. Seth Rollins was with Paul Heyman, and Rollins predicted that something big is on the horizon. And he gave praise to Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker for their growth over the past 6 months. Very interesting segment. And again, we'll get back to all that in just a few minutes with the Vision. Backstage, Adam Pearce was with AJ Styles, and Dominik Mysterio interrupted. He complained about Rusev getting a title match. Dominic said he's the only guy defending his title, and Styles was like, "You're right." Styles then pitched Finn Balor, and JD McDonough defending their tag team titles against AJ and Dragon Lee. And Adam Pearce was very much down for that, and the match was officially made for next week's Raw. We had an interview with Stephanie Valkyria, who won the Crown Jewel tournament, or not the tournament, just the Crown Jewel title, whatever. She talked about feeling blessed, brought up how she's won 4 championships in 1 year. Raquel and Roxanne interrupted her. Roxanne said she should be the champion, which is interesting because Roxanne just got pinned in a match. So they're setting up Roxanne as a potential challenger, even though she got pinned by Bayley. Okay, but I guess you got to come up with somebody, right? So yeah, it looks like we'll see Roxanne versus Stephanie at some point for the title, and maybe even Roxanne versus, or not Roxanne, maybe Stephanie versus Raquel. Main event, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. Yeah. Crowd was loving CM Punk. They were singing his song. He was very touched by that. Competitive match with these guys. At one point, Jay and LA Knight were working together a little bit against Punk, but it was every man for himself. Jay managed to hit the Uso splash, but LA Knight kicked out, and then CM Punk went after Jay. That's when LA Knight hit Punk with the BFT, but Jay pulled Knight out of the ring, breaking up the pin. Then Jay went to try and finish off Punk with the Uso splash, but Punk got his knees up, and then Punk scored the 1-2-3 victory on Jay with the GTS. So again, Jay can say maybe he would have won the match if he didn't come out there and help his brother and get beat up in the process. It made him less than 100%. So that makes sense in the storyline. CM Punk now will face Seth Rollins for the World Championship. It was rumored for Saturday night's main event, but they did not confirm that. We have the Vision coming out. Braun Breaker speared Jey Uso, speared LA Knight, and then CM Punk was all by himself. He got attacked 3-on-1, spear, tsunami. Rollins trash talked, said that Punk will never be the world champion again. And at this point, I'm thinking, there you go, your standard Raw ending. Vision stands tall. I thought maybe Roman Reigns would show up, but no Roman. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, Vision wins here. They stand tall. And this will set up Punk chasing Rollins at Saturday night's main event. And, this is all building up to Survivor Series. The Vision looking very strong against what will likely be Roman Reigns and CM Punk on a team, something like that. And that's where I'm thinking this is going. And then we get maybe the biggest curveball of the entire year. Like, I was legitimately shocked. Braun Breaker turned against Seth Rollins. He speared him out of nowhere. Everybody's shocked. Paul Heyman is shocked. Breaker goes over to Bronson Reed and basically tells him to pick a side. Bronson's either on Rollins' side or he's on Breaker's side. And Bronson Reed made his decision. He sided with Braun Breaker and attacked Seth Rollins with the tsunami. And then they go over to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman makes his decision. He raises the hands of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. What a ruse. This is crazy. But is this another swerve? Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Building Nexus says, do you think that this may be another ruse by Seth Rollins? We all remember SummerSlam. Rollins was hurt and then he came back. I don't know where this is going. Like, this completely threw me off because I figured we were getting Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. These storylines still haven't really been resolved, right? So why are they turning Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed against Rollins now? I figured that they were going to keep this going until WrestleMania. And if the Vision was going to turn against Rollins, they would have done it like after WrestleMania or something in that period, like April, May. I really don't know what to make about this. Did Seth Rollins legitimately get hurt? Shay Roberts brought that up. Rollins did that headbutt, that coast-to-coast headbutt, and he did mention on the post show that he was feeling hurt. So I don't know if Rollins got injured and this is an audible. It's just completely out of left field, and I don't really know what to make of it because Rollins should not be a babyface right now. He's got that blow off with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. The whole War Games thing that we were all thinking, like, where's this going now? And Rollins is the world champion. Like, what's happening here? Is Brock Lesnar coming back into the mix? I don't know what to say about it other than it was a complete shock. And hopefully Rollins is not seriously hurt, but it could be a scenario where Rollins ends up back with them again. I don't know. It was an interesting ending to the show. It does feel very abrupt, which makes me think of the possibility that Rollins is hurt. I don't know if this is all a storyline and Rollins is secretly aligned with them and they're trying to throw everybody off. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not really sure where this is all going or what's going to happen here. But certainly one of the most surprising endings to the show of the year. So we'll find out. I'm sure we'll know in the next couple of days where this is going. But yeah, it definitely feels like this is not what the original direction was, because we were all thinking Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Rollins is going to keep the title for a while. Yeah, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Definitely a memorable show. I think I'm going to go 7 out of 10. Very good episode of Monday Night Raw, wrestling heavy, although we did get that significant angle at the end with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turning against Rollins. So it was an eventful show. Did have some good wrestling, hot crowd. It was a fun episode of Raw. I enjoyed watching it in the morning, but it does throw me off a little bit. Next week, we'll be back to normal with Raw at 8 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned to the No DQ channel this week. No DQ review. I'm sure we'll be talking about this more. Maybe we'll have some more information regarding why this happened and what their direction is now. So stay tuned. NoDQ.com will have any updates regarding this over the next several days. So check out the QR code upper right corner of the screen for the latest news and rumors. Thank you all again for watching. Much love and appreciation. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.